Hello and welcome back to the Perfunctionist channel. So this week we are looking once again at the HX Stomp and how I like to use it. So we're going to look at three ways that I like to use the HX Stomp. Firstly, just the HX Stomp on its own. Secondly, with the external foot switch, the dual foot switch that you can get for it. And thirdly, using it with a drive pedal. You can use it with an pedal board in front of it, which is one option. I like to use it in the confines of the Pedal Train Nano pedal board, the little small one, and that's how I'll be using it in this video. And at the end I will show you how to put it together in the way that I have done in this video, the way that I like to use it. So if you wanted to copy that yourself, then you can check that part out, and if I can find the links, I'll put some links, possibly some affiliate links, in the description below if you want to get some of those pieces yourself. And just quickly before we get into the main part of the video, if you do like this video and any of my content, you can give me a thumbs up, and I definitely appreciate you subscribing as well. If you download any of my Helix presets from the Custom Tone website, or if you just like what I do on the channel in general, you can also buy me a coffee. Links for those are also in the description below. Right, let's get into the video. So the first way I want to show you is just the HX Stomp on its own. So no external pedal, no external foot switch. And I usually use this with my acoustic sound. So let me just find that. Not that you're going to hear it, but I have an acoustic patch on here somewhere, which I'll have to reorder because it's in a very inconvenient place. There you go, acoustic guitar. And this is for when I use it with an actual acoustic guitar for my acoustic gigs. All I have here, if I need to use it, if I need to use any of these effects, if you want to call them that, is a looper, and I sometimes have this EQ here for, I actually use it as a solo boost, and a bit of compression for like the finger picking stuff, just to kind of even that volume out a little bit for when it's too quiet from the finger picking. So that's how I'd use it. Just literally to have this, maybe bring the original power supply along with me as well, and just plug it in, plug the guitar into this, and then this into the mixer. That's the simplest way. I can do it with some electric stuff as well, which brings us back to, let's go back to this one. So there's a bunch of presets that I made around about this kind of area here. My go-to ones, my JCM 800, Deluxe Reverb, Vox AC30, just to kind of cover the basics of the amps I might want to use. I'll probably make some more. I think I made a Friedman one a while ago as well, which wasn't listed there. But the way I tend to use it when I use it with these amp models is with the external foot switch. And I bought one of these just to give me some extra foot switches. Simple as that. You can now get the HX Stomp XL, which has got more switches, even more than these two, which if that's what you want, then you can buy that. But if you already have this, or if you want something even more compact, the dual foot switch thing might be for you. So when you get this out of the box, the third foot switch is your tap tempo and tuner, which I've reassigned to be here, foot switch 5. And I will generally have foot switch 4 as my delay, and then I can just put another effect here. So on this preset, I've got a compressor here. On other ones, I've got a tremolo here. In fact, on this Deluxe Reverb setting or preset, I'm not using any snapshots. I'm just using the Deluxe Reverb as a pedal platform, essentially, for when we use this third pedal here, or this external pedal here. But that's how I'd use that with the HX Stomp and an external foot switch. Same thing with the JCM 800, but in this one I've got the snapshots. There's my clean snapshot. Crunch, and then a bit of solo. Back to clean. So obviously on the Helix Floor, on the bigger Helix models, I can change presets at the touch of a foot switch. But on here I'll have to actually lean down and just turn the knob to whichever preset I need it to be. So if I need to change it to the AC30 for the next song, I'll literally have to bend down and adjust the knob. But that's the price you pay for having a smaller unit. third way I like to use the HX Stomp is with external drive pedals, or external pedals in general. So at the moment I've got here the Exotic AC Plus. You might have seen in a previous video I had the Strymon Riverside. I'm still kind of umming and ahhing about which ones to use, but you can, you know, just like with a normal pedal board, swap them out. So I've got the AC Plus here at the moment. Let's stick with that for the moment. And what I'll basically do is go to a preset which is basically a pedal platform. So Deluxe Reverb is a pretty good pedal platform. You can see here that I have not used any snapshots. I just have a couple of effects pedals here. Compressor, tube screamer, tremolo, and I've got a delay set to foot switch 4 as normal. Then obviously before that we've got some drive here, so let's check some of these sounds out. Here's the clean. Bit of compression. Without compression. It's good if you want to kind of use your fingers rather than using a pick. Tube screamer, and I've got it set to be kind of like a drive rather than like a boost. Bit of tremolo for those more delicate moments. And I may want a different kind of drive at the beginning here, so you can put whatever drive pedal you want. Check some of these sounds out. This side here is a little bit less gainy and a bit, well, it's got some gain, but it's more of like almost a bit of a hairy clean boost. But if you want, you can put something with a bit more drive there. You got your tube screamer here already, and you can put, I don't know, a metal zone or whatever you want here. Or you can, as I said earlier on, you can put like a little small pedal board in front of this as well if you wanted to, and just use this as your amp if you wanted to go ampless. You can also start combining things. So maybe if I've got the tube screamer here, I may want to boost it with this. And of course, can, in this case, stack these two pedals, maybe even add a bit of delay, and see how that sounds. I feel like it needs more gain. Maybe I'll add a tube screamer in as well, see if that adds too much noise. It does add a bit of noise. kind of got this fuzz quality when I do that. But the point is, stick whatever pedal you want in there. And which brings us on to actually the whole setup. I mean, I've got this little pedal tray nano board here. Let's talk about that stuff for a moment. So let's turn this off for a sec. Let's deconstruct what's going on here. Let's remove this from the board. I think you put whatever pedal you want there, but I've connected it with these. I don't know if you clear that will come up on the screen. Doesn't want to focus, but what I'll do is I'll cut in some B-roll of this cable. But it's basically a rockboard cable made by the company Warwick from Germany. You've seen some of their gear before, I'm sure. But they're nice and flat, which is what I really like about them. They're nice and flat because this is a very compact board, so you want it to be everything to be as flat as possible so things can fit, which you'll find kind of in this area here especially. So here I have my dual foot switch. I did previously have, you've probably seen this in previous videos, I did have this one here, which I just bought when I got the HX Stomp. I don't know what make this is. It was just the one at Peach Guitars that they had when I bought the unit, and they just sold this to me as well, and I was like, yeah, I'll have that. The reason I got this one, because I thought this one wasn't working properly because there was a problem with foot switch 4, which I did a video on a week or two ago, and the reason was actually in the HX Stomp, because I'd updated the firmware and it had reset a couple of things, and I thought that this was broken, but it wasn't, so I ended up buying this, then realised afterwards that I didn't actually need this, but I thought I'd keep this on there to see what it's like. But if you want to use one of these, what you need is to connect it to your HX Stomp with a stereo cable, which I should probably start deconstructing now. So this here, without me pulling it out, this is a TRS cable. This is, what's the company who makes this? I think it might be EBS. I think I got this from Amazon, I think, or I might have got it from somewhere else. But if I did get it from Amazon, I'll leave a link in the description so you can get one yourself. But you can see this is a TRS cable. You can tell by the two bands here. It's basically, a TRS is a stereo cable. So a standard cable, like this one's a standard non-TRS cable, mono cable, and it's only got the single band, but this one's got the double. And that's how you can tell the difference. But again, this is nice and flat. So one of the cool things about this pedal is that they do provide you with this cable, but it's not very flat, and only one side is right angled. So it's nice that they provide it, but it's not the best cable for my use, because I want to stick it on this board, which is the Pedal Train Nano board. And the cool thing is you get a nice case with it as well. It's nice and small. You can get the Nano Plus, which is slightly longer. It does mean it doesn't fit in the mono tick, which is what I use for carrying on my mono guitar case. So it kind of clips onto there quite nicely. Let's talk about power. So if I turn this around, I've got the Truetone One Spot Pro. This is, which model is this again? I actually can't remember. I will put that on the screen now when I find out what it is. And this fits underneath the Nano, which really nicely. And what I like about this power supply, there's a couple of reasons I really like it. First of all, it fits underneath here quite nicely. There is a bracket thing that comes with it that allows you to attach it to this pedal board, which I'll show you in a second. That what the HX Stomp needs when you power it is a lot of current. So you can see there, if I get that in focus, DC in, and underneath that 9-volt DC 3A, so 3 amps. So 3 amps is quite a lot of power. Most pedals, like say this, simple drive pedals, only need maybe 10 milliamps of power. So this side here, this is where I've plugged it into. So this one's 500 milliamps. So this says it needs 3 amps. I think this says 500 amps, 500 milliamps, sorry, which sounds like it's not enough. But if I remember correctly from the marketing, when I did the research, all those a couple of years ago, which is a bit of a while ago now, this unit, this power supply, will actually provide you with enough ampage from whichever output you plug into. So it's not something you have to worry about with this. And from someone who's actually used it for a couple of years, I can say, yeah, that's absolutely true. So that's the Truetone One Spot Pro. Again, I'll put the model number on the model on the screen. Okay, so actually, while we're here, you can see these screws here. they give you this template where you have to actually drill holes into these spots here, and you can use these screws to attach straight to the power supply, which is, you know, just mounted directly underneath. So it's been a couple of years since I did the research to find the power supply alternative for this, because when you get this, Line 6 provides you with this wonderful piece of power supply engineering out of the box with their own proprietary connection, which is what we all want to see, isn't it? To be honest, sarcasm aside, it's not too bad. It will do the job, and I do bring this with me sometimes if I'm just using this on its own. But to be honest, yeah, it's not the ideal setup, because this is a bit bulky and this is a bit cumbersome. I wanted everything to be clean and in one place. Okay, so I've just had to go and check something quickly, so I just remembered what these cables do. So this one comes out of the power supply, which also, by the way, I found out when I just kind of did my little quick bit of research there, was that the labels here, so 500 milliamps and so on, are there just as guides. As I said earlier, they were kind of there just to kind of for not legal reasons, but they were required to put those there. But each output can deliver more than 500 milliamps. And I said the HX Stomp, it says 3 amps on the back. It doesn't actually use 3 amps in total. So when you actually use it, so this will provide the right amount of current you need to power your HX Stomp. But let's talk about these cables. So you notice there's a couple of cables all connected here, and I actually can't remember where I got these cables from. There's your cable, just normal standard power cable, and this red one here is a polarity reverser. You don't actually need the polarity reverser, but the reason you've got this here is, well, in fact, I'll get to that in a second, but this green one here, what this does, it allows you to connect to the sizing of the port on the HX Stomp, because it's a proprietary port. The size is, I think, 2.5 millimeters. So that's what the green one is for. So it'll fit into the HX Stomp. But the red one here, as I said, it's a polarity. It changes the polarity, reverses the polarity. But the green one also reverses the polarity. So the red one here is just to counteract the polarity reversal of the green one. So it seems a bit convoluted, but when it's all plugged in, you don't notice it, to the point where I haven't thought about this since I put this all together, since I was doing the research to kind of put this setup together, and I had to kind of go away and remind myself how that works. So I'll just plug this in to the power supply, if I can find the right hole. Story of my life. There we go. And then that will plug into the HX Stomp, and as you see, it will fit. So that way I don't have to use one piece of power for the pedals and stuff, and I don't have to use this for the HX Stomp, and everything's all contained into one unit. And again, you can put this onto your own board, into a bigger board, and just use this, well, however you want. You can use it as just like your amp if you want. You can I've used this before as just like effects like delay and reverb, and then have drive pedals going into a rear amp. I've used it that way before. So I haven't really touched on that in this video, but this is the main way I tend to use it. I've used it as in the effects loop a couple of times, and maybe I'll talk about that in the future. But this what I've done today is how I would use it in most occasions, and yeah, I hope that's been helpful for you. So that is a look at how I use the HX Stomp. I like the HX Stomp to be compact. It is essentially my fly rig. I originally created that rig for a gig that I was going to be doing in Dubai, and I have some other gigs where I've needed a small setup where I have used the HX Stomp setup, and as you've seen on a recent video, I used it on a gig recently. It's kind of more to try it out, and I had the freedom to kind of be a bit more experimental on that gig, so I thought I'd give it a go. Let's quickly do some comments and some shout outs from last week's video, which was about how to make the effects blocks on the Helix independent of the snapshots. And to be honest, most of the comments here are just basically thank you, because people seem to have been wanting to know how to do that, myself included. So Paul Mitchell, just said bingo. That's what I was trying to explain to you in a couple of weeks ago. It's useful on the floor as well as Stomp. Okay, thank you for that, Paul. The other guys, Eric, SJS Photography, just basically saying thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you guys. Anyway, videos every Wednesday. I'll see you next week for the next video. Until then, take care.